Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. So today's going to be a little different. My co-host Tina is in the hospital. She's not doing very good right now. She's been in for a couple of days. I'm just saying, anybody out there that cares, send out your prayers, whatever. There's a lot of people in serious conditions. I'm going to go into a couple things before I start the topic. A friend of mine, Sean David Martin. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of history about him. He was the top psychic in the United States from about 1995 to 2002, 3. Somewhere along the line, serious conditions happened and he was placed in jail. All right, for 150 false charges against him. No evidence of any one of them. No witness of any kind. And since he was a sovereign citizen, he wasn't allowed to say anything at all about it. He had to sit there. And then I'm not going to go into the story of him being in jail because they did everything they could to kill him and really destroy him as far as pulling his teeth out. I'm not going to go into the details, but it's horrible. But he's out. They let him out because he's dying of cancer. He's trying to get treatments, all kinds of different kinds of treatment, trying to stay alive. But he's in the hospital as well right now. They got 2 tubes running into him. So he discovered Area 51, people. He was the first person to bring people out there. They watched it. They watched the mothership come in. He used to take a van out there with about 6 people in it every 2 weeks. And they all watched the ship come in and things like that. All these people claiming this, that, and the other thing. Well, again, I don't deal with liars. All right. Now, my ex-partner, co-host, when I was doing Kerry Cassidy's show for almost a year, he kind of disappeared and ended our relationship, friendship. So I know he came into a lot of money, and he's attacking me, saying he's going to sue me if I put any pictures up. Well, just so you know, people, we were together for about 6 years. We shot pictures every other night from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, and we shot maybe 600,000 pictures every night. I was using photos, real photography, real film for the first couple months, but it was costing us way too much money. And then we switched over to digital. But here's the thing, people. I shot a lot of pictures. In the interim, somewhere down the road, he copyrighted everything, including my pictures. I didn't give him the okay to copyright all my pictures, which he did. So, I mean, if I don't know how it would go, anybody knows the real law on that, if it went to court. Second of all, we shot pictures on government private land. I mean, all the pictures could be compensated and could be classified as a terrorist act to take pictures on a government property. Because the signs all around it said, if you get caught on this property, you will be killed. And I'm not making that up. And we snuck in there every other night for hours. We brought a few people there a couple times, and lots of weird things always happen there. It's probably, I'd say, 10 times more exciting than going to the Stardust Ranch or the Skinwalker Ranch. Because, I mean, there's lots of things happening on both of them. Stardust Ranch, friend of mine, ex-friend too, he died on Christmas time. He said he killed 18 grays. And I brought Kerry Cassidy out there even, and we filmed UFOs, aliens, and it was a real hot place. So I just joined the Skinwalker Ranch site as well. They got an open camera open live, so you can watch the sky all night, all day, whatever. So I joined Richard Dolan's site just to hear what's going on, because you can't hear it unless you join their site. So I did that. I mean, I'm paying a lot of money. I'm paying for this show, paying just to keep on top of the information. The latest news right now, Russia just had a 6.0 earthquake. Mexico had a 7.6 based on the charts online. Hawaii said they had an 8.4 earthquake, and they had 6 of them right after, and that was a day ago. So there's major earthquakes all around the Ring of Fire right now. Now, compounded by that, September 24th, this is only what I was told, there's going to be a major change on the planet. So we'll see. And that was coming out of, I guess, Germany, It was taken down. The couple of videos that were put up were taken down. But I mean, there's a lot of people will jump on that, add their 2 cents to it, say they predicted it and all that. But this was an actual video online that came out of another country, and it was taken down twice. Somebody else put a short part of it up, and it was taken down. I was sent the link; it was already taken down. So, the person just emailed me right now, telling me that it's you're not gonna be able to find any links on it because everything was stripped everywhere. But it was based on September 24th. What is going to happen? Could be what people want to happen, people what might not want to happen, becoming aware of everything that happened in your lifetimes, or who knows? We shall see. I know there was a woman in Germany. I think she was 100 and something. Everything she prophesied came true until she died, and then everything she prophesied for after her death kind of didn't happen yet, or it's not going to happen. But getting back to Sean David, rated the top psychic in the United States. I don't care what anybody says. He prophesied 9/11. I know 3 other people that claim it. Sergeant 18, Dr. Trury. I was with Sean David Moore in New York City in front of hundreds of people when he prophesied 1 year before it happened. He explained both places were going to be hit, the day and everything else. So again, what happened? I mean, nobody stopped it. Nobody was there. All these people saying things. I feel if you're going to make a prophecy, you better stand by it and then defend it. If I knew somebody was going to die at a certain place, I'd be there trying to stop it if I could, if that was my agenda and my abilities. I don't claim to be a psychic, not that kind of a psychic anyway. And I believe anything that comes in my path is there for a reason for me, whether it's a robbery, shooting, murder, or anything. If it's put in front of me, I have to be involved with it because it's my karma, because it's facing me. So getting back to what's happening. My neighborhood, I'm in Hawaii, the crime is escalating to the max. So much crime in a week's time here. And Hawaii doesn't really put people in jail. If they're Hawaiian people, they usually don't even go to jail. So the crime is really bad out on the streets. They let them out real fast. They make a statement like there's no women in jail, which is another story. All I'm hearing through every kind of speaker, lecturer, whatever, is lies. And I'm one for telling you the truth. What is the truth? All right, everybody goes, well, there's my truth. I said, well, there's your truth, my truth, and the real truth, which is God's truth. And if you don't believe in God, that's your problem. All right. I'm not here to convince you anything right now. I'm just telling you what's happening. I do a spiritual show every once a week if I can, trying to help people become aware and who and what they really are as soul, which goes against 90% of all religions. I became aware of all my past lives, people. And if this thing's supposed to happen, maybe you will too. But that knowledge is yours. Nobody else can claim it, take it away, or maybe not even accept it. But here's the thing. My first lifetime on this planet was in Atlantis. I know I had one lifetime before that. I was an alien race. It was the blue race. It's not the one that Corey Good is talking about. His race is a different race. And what he says and stuff, I don't know how much of any of that I believe, and I don't think many people do. But here I'm going to go on. Tina is having problems. She's radioactive on and off, which is impossible. We prove it every show we do. All right. In the interim, she has all the effects of radiation poisoning. Losing her nails, losing her hair, losing her teeth, passing out, all these things. Her dog died of radiation contamination inside its bone marrow. People, I try to bring the truth out, not stories, and I hate the word experiences because that's just programmed people. Whether they're programmed by the government or aliens, it doesn't matter. It's a program. When they say, oh, it was a good trip, there's no such thing as a good trip on an alien ship. Where are they going to take it? A good ship, Lollipop, to where? Lollipop Land? These people believe it, and they want to believe it, and they don't look what's happening. The UFO world's crashing down. I mean, I was in it big time. Sergeant 18 and I were going around the United States, working with global sciences. I was his co-host, as if you want to call it a word, but he always gave me half of his time. He would talk about aliens, and I would talk about spirituality. And sadly, lots of things happened between then and now. He's claiming to be spiritual, which is his choice, saying he's working with Jesus and he's a super higher being now. He went from Sargel 18 to Lord Sargel, meaning, guess what? And I wrote him 5 letters because he put a lot of things on my site. So I wrote a bunch of letters back, and I see that they're not there right now. Well, I don't hide from my truth, ever. I face what I say. I face what I do. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheat. I'm not a drug addict. Don't smoke and all that. So my truth is as real as it can get that I could possibly give you based on all my experiences, which I had many witnesses. I mean, when I was at Sargel, we saw multiple things. When I was young, my friend was over my house. We saw something. I was in a hospital. My brother and another person was in a hospital when we saw something. So, I'm not just making up stories because I feel like it. I'm not just telling a long story because I want to be recognized as a storyteller. But proof, the only proof you should be worrying about is what can you prove to yourself. I got a simple manual, tell you how to see UFOs if you never saw one. And that's real easy because there's multiple UFOs around flying over us all the time right now. All right. So if you go out between, I'd say my time is 4 to 5:30. See any kind of ship, all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, ships come around. I mean, I missed the mothership that came over a couple months ago. It came around about 11 o'clock at night. The one before that came around 10:30. So it's around that time that the motherships were here. And different friends of mine all said they saw it. I was supposed to get a picture of it, but I never got the picture. He moved away, the one person. My friends disappear, people. In the past 25 years, I'd say I lost 16 friends, one really good friend, many good friends, and many just friends. And I'm talking, you know how, not disappearing because they turned into dust, but taken out. All right, multiple ways. 2 of them were in the hospital. One's still in the nut house. One was in jail. He just got out, but he's in serious condition. But all my other friends have disappeared from planet Earth. So I don't make my stories up. I dealt with incredible people in my lifetime, including when I was young. The word abductee is being removed from the whole world. I don't know why. Because people don't want the truth. They rather say, oh, the aliens are good. They're going to come help us. Well, they think sending all these ships up into space, they're not doing anything. I just had a big thing with Laura Eisenhower. I don't know if you know who she is. Eisenhower was her great-grandfather. But she knows very little about him, really. I had her on my show. I think we had the biggest following I ever had. I think we had like 120,000 people listening to our show. But here, people, look, people come out with great stories. I don't care how good or bad it is. Can it help you in your daily life? If not, it's useless. If you're in a religion and it can't help you get over or go through certain things, it's useless. If you claim you're a spiritual person and you're dealing with horrible things, guess what? You're not as spiritual as you think you are. You're not protected as much as you think you are. All these people think they're protected. From what? All right, take any family that's a Christian. Did they ever lose a son? Did they ever lose a brother, a sister, mom, dad for a weird situation early? A birth that didn't happen, things like that. So where's the protection? Rape, abuse, and murder, all those kind of things. Are you protected from all that? No, you're not, people. You may believe and think you are. That's not what protection means. Unless you're driving around in a super armored suit in a super bulletproof car, bomb-proof, you might be a little more protected. But if you're driving around like that, I guarantee somebody's going to want to take you out because they think you're in that for a reason. But protection means what you are inside here. Soul, what you really are, not the body. When you die, that's when you could be protected. Not here, not on planet Earth. And here's what I'll say, because people hate it. This is hell, people. Oh, no, 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 no. Why? How could you say no? Just pull up, there's a show on Sunday night, and it shows the arenas, how they fought and stuff, all through history. Now we got strongman fighting. In Taiwan, they fight to death and things like that. We still have the same barbaric situations going on in our society. All right. Never mind crime and all those other bad words are escalated to the max right now. So are we moving forward in any way spiritually? No. Do people even have a clue what the word means? Now, do you think aliens are spiritual? You'll get many people say, well, they're much more spiritual than us. Why? Because they got faster ships than us? They could travel through the universe better than we can? That doesn't make them spiritual, people. When people talk about going into sixth dimension, and do they understand what it even means? This reality, the physical reality, has multiple dimensions to the physical reality. If you go into the next dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, whatever, you're still in the physical reality. All right, you're based on the physical laws and are effective in that realm. Planet Earth, you got to breathe, you got to eat. All right, the astral plane, you don't. All right, you don't have a solid body. You don't have to be you don't have to be getting older, which you don't age on the astral plane. But in the other realities, now, when Tesla was saying, Einstein saying, you can go back in time, can't go forward, we can go back and forward in time, people. Mr. Tesla created that technology. And we do, and we did. And we screwed up our time frame. People, you can believe whatever you want. I'm going to give you the truth, and it would be up to you to find out and prove it to yourself whether it's real or not, or I'm making up stories or anything I was involved with. I work with Mr. Seidel up in Wanacue, New Jersey, government property. It's where Tesla was working with DuPont. And also, during the time frame, uh, while we were there, we saw multiple things, creatures, entities, you name it. We came out with orbs. And I'm not going to go into that because somebody will debate me on that as well, but I don't care. Uh, we need to be aware that these places exist. Now, Wanacue has a vortex. It opened because of Mr. Tesla and the Philadelphia experiment, and they ripped a hole, and that's called a vortex. But things are coming through it into our reality. Bad things, people. And there's a couple others on the planet. CERN is creating one as well. And they think they're going to go jump in a spacesuit, go through the vortex, and go somewhere and all that, through their black hole they're creating and all these words. You know, nothing's really provable. Well, you can get things that'll say it's right or wrong. Time. Do you think government can tell you how old anything really is? Can they tell you when the first man came here? Can they tell you where the first man came from? All right, no, they can't. And you can't base it on stories like Emerald Tablets or, well, they're probably closest to the truth as you can get. But then you got the Aranch, the Sumerian tablets, and talk about Enoch. The story of that was taken out of the Bible because they didn't want to talk about giants. So all the stories that existed before us, what's happening? You know, there was a museum in I'm sorry, I'm going to put a lot of stuff together. In New York City, there was a museum opening, and they had a Bigfoot there. And guess what? It burnt down the day it was opening. All right. Accident? Doubt it. All right. Now, they've been covering up Bigfoot. Why? Not that it's not real, because I was next to one. So to me, I know it's real. Whether you want to believe that, that's your choice. But I worked with somebody that said he worked with Bigfoot Sasquatch for 40 years. And he had no proof. And then I brought him on my show. I gave him like an hour and a half to talk. And I said, well, the last half hour, I'm going to debate you. And he goes, okay. Then when it came to the show, oh, you can't debate me. I said, well, what proof do you have? He goes, well, I got 200 people that said they saw a Bigfoot. I said, so what? I had over 1,000 people that were abducted and people that lost their children. And nobody believes it today. People, you know, these people out there speaking, I write letters to them. They don't reply. They can't because they don't have nothing important to say back to what I tell them. That trivial thing. Well, we're going to have an experiencer on today. Yeah, and listen to a bull story about what? Well, I was taken to Japan, and then over there they had these spaceships that were invisible when they want to be, and they could go on with great stories and come up with names. But is it going to help you in reality? Now, a friend was a friend for a while, Anna Hayes. She changed the name, but she died around Christmas time as well. Three of my friends all died Christmas, but she died. But she claimed she worked with 127 races. She had no karma. She claimed a lot of things. Uh, but in the UFO world, stories get bigger and bigger the more they're told. My stories don't ever change. They don't change because that's what happened, and that's all that I will say about it is what happened. All right. Now, when people come out with these stories and when they tell it over, it gets better every time. I knew a person. I was doing a show with T.J. Morris, and we had somebody there. Every time she told a story, it got better and better. And basically, what happened is the UFO stories out there became part of her story. She just spit it into whatever she was telling. So it's a great way to make yourself feel good, feel like you're famous and better off or worse off, however you want to look at it. Abduction's not a good thing. Ever. There's no such thing as a good abduction. If you're taken on a ship, it's called an abduction. I don't know one person that can come out and say, "Oh yeah, the ship landed in front of my yard. They rang my doorbell, and they asked me if I wanted to go for a ride, and I said yes." That never happened. So the idea of it being a good experience and not an abduction is delusional. Now, I can throw back into Lord Eisenhower and our great grandfather. He created a program. The program said if you get abducted, because they were working with aliens, and they said if a person gets abducted, they cannot remember what happened, which lasted for a long time. I'm not going into Barney Hill and because that's just one story, and basically probably the first people that broke the story because they came out with what happened. Now, but on that, for many years, people just have missing time. Oh, I was abducted. No, I don't remember that. But I was doing hypnosis, regression, and all that. I was the first person to start doing that when I was young and listen to the stories. There's never a good abduction, people. Nothing. What they do is not good or pleasurable. You don't go on a ship and they feed you tea and give you cupcakes and then they say, come back later, we'll have steak dinner. I mean, they don't talk like that and they don't act like that. Ask people what they eat when they're on a ship. Ask them what they know the aliens eat. Nobody talks about the real important things, like why are they really here? Well, nobody knows that. Well, nobody knows God. Nobody knows this. Nobody knows that. Yes, people do. Whether they come out and talk about it or not, they just don't want to get laughed at, put down, or put away. Luckily now, people don't get put away about talking about aliens. When I was young, nobody wanted to come out with the truth. I was working with women that lost their children, 8.5 months pregnant. I saw the sonogram. She went to the hospital the next day, and there was nothing inside her that proved she was even pregnant. I saw the paperwork and everything on that, on these women that were losing their children. So today you don't even see that. I wonder why. Well, the program MJ12 was created for a reason. I was friends with one of the people later on, right before he died. I got introduced through my other friend, but later on, I found out some really important information. Who else would know other than a person in MJ12? They're the highest on the planet, basically, with knowledge of aliens, UFOs, and all that, because they're the ones that had to create the programs, protect the programs, make sure they keep going. And now it's MJ32, people, if you want to know the truth. I don't think anybody else can talk about that either. All right, now SETI, it was SETI, and basically there was a good one and a bad one. One was a government one was a private one. There's all these things that were going on for the past 40 years, roughly, mainstream, and nobody knows anything. I was friends with the president of SETI, and she told me that these men in black came into the office. Her and the vice president were there, and they were injected. and they were told they can't do nothing about it. So they went out to the reservation. Well, she did. She went out to the reservation, see if she could get medicine people to help her, which they couldn't. She came back and she called me, and I was talking to her. She said, "I'm deathly sick. I can't talk." She died 2 weeks later. The vice president died a month later. All right, and that was the end of SETI. The government said he still existed. Damn, and then the movie with Jodie Foster came out. So they take truth and they squeeze it into all these other things. Now, a lot of the movies, including the X-File, the first movie, was very important if you watch it. All right, the reason why it goes into a lot of truth about honey, and honey was a critical thing, and I know that for a fact. But I'm not going to go into those details. But getting back to, all right, let's go back to the topic today. What's going on in the UFO world right now? There's multiple ships over us all the time. That should wake you up. Why? Where are they going? What are they doing? Well, if they're over us all the time, you should have to assume they're doing something, right? They're not there because, well, we're just flybys, millions in a short period of time. All right, I can see about 10 ships in an hour, usually. Or you're just seeing satellites. No, I'm not. There's a difference between a UFO and a satellite. And just realize, people, most satellites today are little. Little, all right? So you're not going to see that miles away, multiple miles away, no matter what's in it, all right? But the other thing is a lot of satellites are falling, and they're making sure that they fall in the ocean, all right? I just pulled up the numbers and stuff, but I don't want to put that out there mainstream. Check it for yourself. See what's going on. See how many ships you can really see. How many satellites you can really see, when, what time. And why would there be like 20 in one spot? In one, I have a bunch of ones all going like this. I filmed it all crisscrossing, and all was in about a minute. All right. Anything that stops is not a satellite. Anything that makes a turn is not a satellite. Anything that changes speed is not a satellite. Anything that changes color is not a satellite. So I could say I saw, witnessed all those things, and they're not satellites. But years ago, Sergeant 18, when I was working with him, shot pictures of real ships that look like a ship, not just a regular plane, but satellite. They look like tubes. They look like all kinds of different shapes, but some look like a regular ship, a spaceship, but you could presume. Multiple numbers of them. And I don't think anybody else in the United States shot as many pictures as we did. And then we went into the orb thing as well, and strange phenomena. I'm putting my pictures I shot up, no matter who cares or no matter what happens, but I'm putting the pictures I shot up. All right. Again, did I give anybody permission to copyright them? No. Not certain pictures that I shot. Definitely not. Some I never released. I just put that picture. If you look at that picture that's on this camera, on this show, enlarge it. Copy it, enlarge it. You're going to see 3 triangle ships over the base here in Hawaii. All right. Again, I don't need anybody to say this or that or help me find things or say things. No, it's out there, people. You don't have to be a superpowered being to see an alien. You don't have to have a special code, or you don't have to be a psychic healer or a medicine person or anything like that. So it's up to you to make a decision, people. Do you want the truth or not? Do you want to live by stories? Look at the planet. We got enough chaos going on with our government, with Mr. Trumpo, what he's doing, what he's saying. Now, do you believe him coming out and saying, if he gets convicted of any kind of crime, the United States is going to experience the worst serious thing ever? Where'd you come up with this stuff? I mean, is all his people programmed enough to go out and kill people, loot, and do things because he's in jail or going to face charges of going to jail? Whether he should or not doesn't matter. And when you go against the president, who is the president, you're a terrorist. And that was classified right after 9/11 happened. And Mr. Bush said, you're either for us or you're a terrorist. So where do you want to fit into that? Being a terrorist? There's 450 terrorist groups then. I mean, groups like Greenpeace was considered a terrorist group. Anybody that tried to have any kind of freedom or within their own right was considered a terrorist group. So now, are you prepared for the truth? Are you prepared what's going to happen? All right, I don't know what's going on today. I don't know if I'm live or not. I'll find out later. But I hope everything's okay, because my site might be blocked and a lot of things might be going on, and I'm going to find out until somewhere in the future. But this show is recorded, people. Anybody listen and send it to anybody you know. All right, because it's time people start becoming aware of what's happening. What's happening with the world, and this is a fact, people, it's called UN Agenda 21-30. Obviously, it's the years 21 last year to 2030. By then, they all voted. 193 countries agreed on it years ago, saying, yeah, we need one world order. All right. What does it mean? It means a real lot, people, because basically when you talk about control, population, there's too many people. We know that. Not enough food. We're going to find that out in the next 2 years. Not enough power. They're going to find that out in a year or two as well. Electric cars aren't going to be the answer for anything, people. Do you realize that? I'm sure you don't. Whatever technology aliens gave us is not going to help us. They didn't give us technology to move forward spiritually in any way. Technically, creating the HARP system was a dangerous, bad thing. Directed energy weapons is a bad thing. All the things we play with are bad. But realize this, people keep talking about a nuclear bomb. We're beyond that, people. There's a proton bomb, neutron bomb. I guess there's something called the electron bomb. And each one of them have different effects. One, you could blow up everything, buildings and people. One, you could just take out all the people. Imagine that. I could destroy a whole country and just have the whole civilization to take over and use it, rather than a bunch of rubble. So whatever kind of weapons you're going to use, it depends how smart the people using them are. Smaller countries, I'm not going to go into all the countries, but they're not that equipped or, I'd say, intelligent enough to have it, because basically we got our technology from aliens. Tesla worked with an alien race, people. I'll put my life on the line on that one because I saw his personal notes on that. And he did say it. Einstein also said it. But I'm going to tell you this. Einstein wasn't smart, and he plagiarized a lot of other people from other countries' information. But he worked with a race. He admitted it in his notes. I don't know if he worded it like in a dream state or whatever, but he said he worked with this race. And they gave him false information. Everything Tesla said is not true. We can go backwards and forwards in time. He said we can. He said there could be nothing bigger than a certain size object. And we just discovered one about 10 years ago. The biggest object in the multiverse. So, what people come up with and say, everything changes in this reality. And not for the better. To say that we evolved is the most ridiculous statement. And to believe that aliens created us is another ridiculous statement. Now, I can't say his name. The Japanese guy that started with water, he's a high scientist. But he even said, if something develops, you take a cell and multiply it and multiply it. It doesn't keep getting better every time it does. It just doesn't move forward in a straight line to become better. It just goes and goes and goes. So there would be multiple creatures and beings of humans, of forms and stuff. Not the caveman, because that was before. I'm talking about after man was here. And if we were still growing in this way, what would be better? We haven't changed in 50,000 years. Uh, the roach only became adaptable. It's the oldest creature on this planet. Excuse me. But it's basically indestructible for what it is, its size and everything. It could go underground, live underground for a year without eating. It could come out, grow wings, and fly around. So it's one of the most adaptable creatures, even though I hate them more than any other creature on the planet, that are on this planet. All right. Do they change into anything bigger, smaller, or some other kind of creature? No. So to say we developed from a cell that meteorite dropped on this planet is ridiculous. Science can't prove anything they say, and they expect us to believe it. Age is unprovable. A tree is based on the rings in a tree. All right. A tree has 100 rings, it's 100 years old. But the space between the rings show you how much happened to it within a year's time. It's a good clock for that kind of frame. But when we talk about beginning of history, beginning of the human race, and dinosaurs, when they left and came, cavemen had dinosaur pictures in there, and they ate them and stuff. They worked together, and it was proven that man was with dinosaurs. So how do they come up with a time frame? They don't. They base it on carbon. Now, if you're aware, aliens have technology 1,000 times greater than we do. They're millions of years older than us, some races. So you don't think they've learned much more? We change every 25 years dramatically. Look at what we were 100 years ago. Imagine what we're going to look like in 50 years. If we move forward. I mean, we're not. We're moving backwards and sideways, but anywhere except forward. Now, the technology we got from aliens, is any of it beneficial? All the things Tesla invented, free energy. Do we have free energy? Anything you get, you have to pay for, no matter how you get it. Well, I'm getting it from the sun. How much you pay to set up your solar system and all that? Now, when they talk about cars charging and charging a car, how much it costs a month? But where's that electricity come from, people? From a power source, which is being created by gasoline. So and oil, all right? So guess what? We're not moving forward against those substances. The towers and everything, oh, well, cell towers. Do you think they put out good energy? Well, I'll tell you this. There's two towers where I live within about a 10 block radius of each. The one produces a radioactive field around the parking lot, and the other one doesn't. The new one doesn't. Now, realize technology, call it good or bad if you want. Like they got TV screens that don't radiate high electromagnetic energy, which mine does. When I take out our Geiger counter when I was with Tina, and we put it on a screen and stuff, you can see how bad it is. Hers doesn't radiate it, mine does. But she's radioactive. I'm not. And we show that as well. So where are we going with all this? What are we going to do? Well, that's up to you people. Listen to the stories, go out and spend money to go to a conference, listen to a bunch of speakers tell you a bunch of stories about what happened years ago. And nobody's telling you the truth about that either. The government knew aliens were here a long time ago. People, are you really that ignorant to understand that? Pull up alien interrogation. It's real, people. I'm not going to go into details, but it's real. And it was a real thing that happened. Whitney Schreiber started crying. All right. And he said he was abducted when he was young. So, people, do you want the truth? Like the government says a Tic Tac's not even from another planet? Really? Listen to the alien interrogation. I think it's 3 parts. And they're torturing this poor alien to tell what he thinks he knows. Now, he's just an alien, one alien. And if it's just like one human. You think a human knows much of everything? Of course not. He knows what he was programmed and why he was sent here. Think about that, people. When an alien's sent here on a ship, they're sent here for a reason. Not to come and make friends with us and try to figure out what they want to do with us and what we should do with them. No, it's not like, oh, we all have the same agenda. We don't. Every living creature has an agenda. All right, and it's not the same. But the number one agenda that everybody has a part of is eating food. Anything that has a physical body has to eat food and breathe air and drink water. So that's one thing that we all have an agreement with. But how we get it, where it comes from, is different between every agenda, every race. When a ship travels through space, yeah, they don't need gasoline, but they do destroy the ozone when they go flying through it. Some ships, not all ships, some ships care about that because they want the Earth. And I'll tell you this, most alien races do want the Earth. All right, for different reasons. Here's a statement, people. Nobody talked about it. I have two witnesses that actually heard it. Mr. Putin on Russian TV, I don't know, between 6 and 4 months before Trump was elected. He came out and said, I want Trump to come out, tell the world what really happened at 9/11. That was the first thing he said. I want him to talk about what they're doing with alien races. Putin himself said that. And he said, we are working with 27 races, which they probably are, the same as the United States is working with. All right. And then he said, all right, he come out and he said this. He goes, look, 2 of them want to destroy the planet. How would he know 2 of them want to destroy the planet? And why would he say that? Because we're fighting with them, people. See, UFO people don't get involved with the truth. They deal with stories and listen to other people. Oh, here's a picture of that, and that's where their story comes from. And guess what? MJ12 makes sure the main stories don't come out, like Phil Snyder's story. The real stories are getting squashed. John Ford, who's in the Long Island, not happy. John Ford, check it out. I saw his video before he was put away. It is the best video ever shot. Nobody could come close. So I tell like Teen or all these other people, all the pictures I shot. Nothing comes close to the video that he shot. Ship crashed on Long Island. I went out to where it crashed. I saw where the ship came in and notched down all the trees. They tried burning it up so nobody could see the evidence. I mean, there's all burned trees there with notches in them where it skid in about maybe a half a mile, smashing all the trees out of the way and everything else and notching them. But it was 3 weeks they closed that area off while these black trucks went in and out of there taking debris away. Why? If it was just a fire? Now, here's another thing, people. The fire department and police department both have a clause about UFOs. Do you know that? Seriously, they get a book of codes, and it says they do not have the right to enter a ring of a UFO ship or an alien ship and things like that. They don't have the right. They have to block it off. Not that they would listen to it. They want to go see what's in there and things like that. But their law that they're supposed to abide by means they have to block the area off and wait for FEMA to come out there, which happened on Long Island when that ship crashed there. All right. I can go into the little things I call little. I saw 2 ships get cremated here in Hawaii. Shot down, blown apart. All right. Oh, well, it probably was just a drone experiment and stuff right over the city, right over town. I doubt it. People realize this. The government tests things, but they're blowing bombs up here in Hawaii, but they do it up on the mountain. They're not dropping them off in the city, are they? We got a lot of bombs underneath the ground, which leave radioactive ground. And I can prove that too. So we got multiple serious problems outside of the program problems you're forced to be involved with. All right. I feel bad. Tina is definitely affected and her life's completely stripped being a normal person, being able to have a happy life because of aliens. All right. Now, a good thing that happened, I'm not going to remember his name. I don't have the paper handy. But a person was given, he worked for college. He's got all his degrees and everything. He's working with DNA and cancer. And the government came to him with 100 UFO abductees, names and pictures. And he was allowed to get in touch with these people. Some of them were dead. Find out, question them, analyze them, and all that. he came up with, and this is his scenario, that 80% of them have a mental, not disorder, mental, some kind of a mental problem, basically, really. All right. But 20% of them had to be abducted for real. So even at that, 20% of 100 is 20 people. So, and there, he actually admitted to the government that he totally believes that 20 people were actually abducted. And the government just came to him recently. And that video is online if you pull it up. I can't think of it right now. I am so bad. I had dyslexia and I can't even say the letters DHE, whatever, those 4 letters. So I gotta find it just to say what they are. HD, attention deficit disorder, I guess, however you say it. ADHD and dyslexia. Both of them when I was little, and I still got them. So I do have a problem with names. I have a problem with a couple different things. But seriously, people, the truth's out there. Do you want it? Do you want to listen to people go on about, well, this project the government had, this project? Well, yeah, of course they did. They were fighting aliens. They were fighting countries. They were fighting. And we are always fighting. We have been for over 40,000 years. I'm talking about the human race. Then go back beyond that. All the other alien races that were here were fighting. Why, none of them are still here. Do you understand that either? Oh, well, no. Well, there was people here before dinosaurs. Earth's really old. They're going to tell you how old it is and how long it could last before it's destroyed, the same as the sun's going to get destroyed. Well, the videos of ships going in and out of the sun are incredible. And they're not man-made. I shot one myself. I watched it. My camera almost burned up, even though I had a filter on it. But I watched it. So what kind of creatures can go in and out of the sun? Sun's energy, the force, the energy, heat, and all that. I mean, we designed our ships to get through to where they can go right now. And we don't go that far out into the universe. I mean, as far as people. I mean, when they come through re-entry, you ever watch them when they used to show the people in the ship? I'm going through like that for about, 30 seconds, whatever it is. But imagine without spacesuits and everything else, the technology that we have, what would happen to people in space? Remember when they sent monkeys up and they sent potatoes up there to see if potatoes can grow? They did a lot of so-called experiments, what they told us. They ever tell you what they're really doing, what they're trying to see, prove? Now, I'm throwing everything at you people because you got to put these pieces together and see where it takes you. When we shot a ship to the moon to blow it up, you remember that? There was a hole and they sent this bomb to go inside it to blow it up. That's what they told us. It was on 3 different stations on TV, live, up until the point it was like 2 miles from the moon, and then everything was blacked out. Doesn't that sound weird, stupid? They didn't want to show us what really happened when they did. If anything happened, we sent a missile to blow up a meteorite. Nothing happened. So you really think that somebody on this planet could blow up a meteorite if it's going to crash into us? That would be an alien race intervention if they want it. It depends where we are. If they feel they can use the planet, they'll probably stop it from happening. If they feel we become a terrorist group to all alien races and we can take them all out, they're going to let it happen. But people don't want to think that far or even believe it could happen. Look, I've been around it. I saw an alien. I was 10 feet away from one. I was about 25 feet from the ship that it was on. It came in my house. I mean, I had my friend with me. I was next to a Bigfoot, about a foot away from it, next to me, standing in the back of me, until I turned around. Multiple things. I was in the hospital watching a ship come and trying to abduct my brother. Unprotected people. Don't ask me why. I'm not talking about God's love protects me. No, nothing like that. Just unprotected for a reason. No understanding why. Because when my brother was being abducted, they were shooting a beam right at him, and I just went up to the window and put my hands over the window like this, and the beam stopped, and the ship shot right back out into space. So, and I was 6, so I knew I was protected since I was young. But then I started working at a spiritual level. I call spiritual, even though I don't say I'm spiritual now anymore. I say I'm on a spiritual path. When it becomes spiritual, I will not be here. There would be no reason to be here if you're spiritual, people. Oh no, I'm going to save mankind. You're not God. You're not here to save mankind. Hell was created for a reason. And this is hell. All right. I can go into details. It's simple. Is this what you would consider heaven? I sure hope not. So this is where you experience pain, suffering, see it created, and all those things. You can't do that on the astral plane. You can't kill a person on the astral plane. I should say you can't kill a soul on an astral plane. So there's a big difference when we say we're protected and we're spiritual and all these words. You're spiritual, why? You tell somebody they're healed and they think they are? You think you can take away their karma? Soul has its own karma to deal with, and it's with it forever until it leaves the astral plane. On the astral plane, it's dealing with it because it usually has to come back here. And then when it comes back here, it loses its awareness. All right? Meaning it doesn't know that it was even here before. Even though it reincarnated probably 100, 200 times, 300 times, and it's not aware of any of it. So it's like saying I went to college and then I took a pill and it made me forget everything. So I started off as a baby again. Same thing. No knowledge of anything. But when it comes to like riding a horse or doing something, I can do this. Yeah, I just feel this is the way it's got to be done. And you know it. Well, soul has that awareness. It's the mind that blocks it. But if you listen to these spiritual speakers out there, oh, meditate, become one with nothingness. And what? You're nothing. It's like 0 and 0 equal what? 0. Does it equal 10, 20, 100? So if you become one with nothingness, what are you? A spiritual being? Really? And you let go of your own awareness to become part of another awareness? Why? All your work you're doing, lifetime after lifetime, is for you as soul. God grants children, men, women, gifts as they grow in awareness. And those gifts aren't like cashable on planet Earth. You can't cash in gold bullion in hell. I mean, in a make-believe way. I mean, that's what we do play with is gold. But going into heaven, going into the next realm, the astral plane, what do you think you could get here or make or do to make that happen directly? Nothing. All you got to do is become aware of who you are as soul. Make sure your soul is vibrating at the right vibration. No, if you're a mass murderer, you can change your vibration any way you want. It doesn't change your real vibration. Well, I meditate and I see stars and I see light. Yeah, well, so you're still right where you are. Here, planet Earth called hell. Now, the main thing is who controls all this stuff? I mean, you can believe in the emerald tablets, you can believe in a lot of different things. Who can even talk about that? The Sumerians, really? Zachariah Sitchin translating words? And we didn't speak the same way back then either, did we? Well, this symbol means this and that. You can translate anything the way you want. But you could have 10 people read a paragraph in the Bible and translate it 10 different ways. And not one of them is going to be right, sadly to say. If you don't know, all right, let's start. I can go which way I want because Tina's not here and I know she doesn't like to talk about religion too much because she was never protected in any way or given any kind of help. All right. In religion, man created this programmed idea of what it is. And you can't go outside that box. All right. Because you got 2,000 religions basically. There's more, but basically 2,000 name religions that are out there. And only 2 of them have the highest number of population, Christianity and Muslims. Christianity has 2.5 billion. Muslims have about 2.2 billion. And they're growing pretty fast as well. So then you got 2,000 other religions to deal with the rest of the population. Then you got people that don't believe in God and all that as well. So it's a sad thing because those religions don't have much truth. How can I say that? Look at what they do. Look what they are. Look at how they act. Do you drink? Why? Why do you drink? Do you smoke? Why? Why do you smoke? Two things I never could figure out why anybody would do either. Well, why do people do drugs? I'm not for pain. I'm talking about to get high and things like that. Because they're not happy being on planet Earth. Really. I mean, sex might be great, food might be great. But guess what? They sit here and wake up back in the same place again every day. Now, to relate to that, watch the movie Groundhog Day. I watched that maybe 10 times. It's funny and it's interesting and it's an incredible idea that what reincarnation is. And if you watch that, you can kind of understand what reincarnation means. But see, he had the awareness to remember each time he died, where we don't. Well, not we, most people do not. When you reincarnate, you're back here with very little knowledge. Sure, in the past 25 years, a few more souls are becoming a little aware of their past life. One lifetime. Very few people have more awareness of that. I'm aware of all my lifetimes back to Atlantis and one before that. Is it a pleasure? No, most of them were useless, and I have to say that. Because if you don't learn awareness in a lifetime, you don't learn anything. And you have to learn a form of awareness, which means what you are as soul. In all those time frames, nobody was teaching it. In Atlantis, they just were aware. And that was taken away by alien races. All right? And they were destroyed because of that. But here's the thing, people. 9 races existed in Atlantis in the beginning. And they were brought here. All right? They didn't pop up out of an alien, comet, meteorite, or anything like that. And the Anunnaki didn't go, poof, there's a human. No, it's not like that, people. It's like who created God? You want to go into that or not? Big Bang? No, that didn't create God. There's no such thing as a Big Bang. And you want to believe that? That's your choice. All right. God was always God, and it was always there. All right. But is it here? No, it's not. It doesn't come in vibration of a planet. It would destroy this whole planet if it did, people. People can't understand anything about vibration, really. Why raise my vibration? You wouldn't fit into the reality. Take a tuning fork, hit it, and put it next to a glass, and it could shatter it. Can that glass ever adjust to the tuning fork? No. Its vibration density is different, and they can't vibrate the same as each other. And same with people. To think we could go to a second dimension, alternate reality in a different realm, not the physical reality, and vibrate there because we say we're spiritual. What makes a person spiritual, people? Aliens? You think aliens can help us in any way, really? The only thing they did for mankind was give Tesla weapons, which are really destructive to the planet. Tesla car is not where we need to go. It doesn't help us move forward spiritually in any way. Everything he invented is about taking us further away from being who we are as a soul being, more into the AI, which is going to take over the world. And here, people, I'm going to tell you straight out, and it's proven, AI is real. Even though it says artificial intelligence, it's really an intelligent entity. I forgot what movie it actually went into that whole thing, and that's what it was. But it's alive. It's just as like the Galactic Federation in 1970 something, I would say. They all suddenly started seeing Ashtar Command and going with the Galactic Federation. I hate to tell you, people, it's a program. Oh no, they're real people. You have a bad dream. Is it real? It's as real as you want to believe it to be. Everything they ever prophesized never came true. And even people today, and I'll say one name, Nasir Harriman, however you say it. All right, he claims to have the Ark of the Covenant. He talks about the string theory. He claimed he created, no, the string theory was here before him. So, but he tries to take people to the Galactic Confederation ship. I went to a seminar here in Hawaii, charged $450 for 2 days. and he was grubbing money. He wanted to get a couple $1,000,000 so he could link his Ark of the Covenant with the one that the government has, so he can change the vibration of the planet. Does that sound like a brain of a human? Uh, Thinking you can change reality, then you're playing God. And if you think you're at a level of God, you're delusional. David Wilcock is being proven fake right now. A lot of the stuff he came out with, including he was on TV when he first came out. I don't know if you saw it. Well, I'm God. Really? That's what he said when he first came out. So, these people being disproven. Now, another name, I don't want to get into that, but there's a couple other people being disproven who they are, what they say they are, and all that. Stephen Greer, he's a totally different package altogether. And nobody bothers me more than he does because of the lies and what he's doing. But another person who claimed he worked in the Area 51 and saw the ships and aliens and all that stuff, well, they're proving him fake as well. He was a janitor. I'm not going to say the name. Figure it out. Yeah, he might have saw things, but was he the one that was doing anything? No. So, people, you can listen to these people. Talk, talk, talk. Does it help you? Can it help you? Listening to Roswell, listening to Benny Hill, Barney Hill, uh, their story, is it going to help you? They're not around to tell it. But now the show I do, Tina Bird, she's still being abducted, and she doesn't know most of what's happening still. And she's going to do a live hypnosis ceremony. I hope she can get out of what she's going through, but I don't see it happening because if you're radioactive, it doesn't disappear. But we prove it goes higher and lower on her, which is impossible as well. So that's why I said it has to be some kind of alien intervention. Otherwise, she would be dead. And I tell it to her face. I don't hide that. Her teeth were falling out one every other month. The doctor's dentist had no clue. Her nails are falling off. Her hair's falling out. Those kind of things aren't normal. Just fell down the flight of stairs. It was all bruised up. Passing out all the time and things. But this is a woman that had implants removed from her. Had some other kind of entity removed from her stomach, which we can't even get that x-rays because the video, the government says, no, it's too controversial to release it. How's a video of my stomach too controversial to release it to the world? You should figure that out. Real simple. It's something they can't show the world. And what would that be? A diseased liver, kidney, heart, a cell, a malignant tumor? No, people. The truth's there. And she has more proof of a lot of important things than most people in the UFO world claiming to be this, that, and the other thing. Aliens are not good, people. There's no such thing as a good alien. Whether you want to believe that or not, I'm telling you the truth. And they'll never find one. And I have to bring this up all the time. Watch the movie V. Watch the whole movie. It was 6 months, I think. And for 5 months, they were showing how these aliens were going to help mankind, help us do this, heal, and all this other stuff. While the head alien was creating these eggs to create her community. But it's probably as closest to the truth if that happens. The Day the Earth Stood Still was my favorite movie. But that would be a spiritual race coming here, and we haven't had any. They warned. When the Day the Earth Stood Still, all right, they warned the people. You got one day to make a decision, or we will destroy the world. And they had ships around the planet, and they said, okay, you make the move. The army came in trying to blow the robot up and all that, but they couldn't. And at the end, they really did mankind move forward or not? Of course we didn't. Man doesn't move forward. They only know the word backwards. Spirituality, it's so sad that it's not here in any form. Oh, I'm a spiritual being. I send love to the whole world. Really? And what's that do? Lady, the stuff that's happened in my neighborhood in the past month is crazy. the lady killed by her boyfriend. Uh, Now, a friend of mine in California, her boyfriend was chasing a girl and chopped her head off in the middle of the street. I said, does that sound like a normal thing? Just a couple of days ago, a kidnapping of a girl. They got the girl back at least 2 days ago. But all these things, every day we hear something. It was stabbing last night in Hawaii, the most beautiful place on the planet, supposedly. Again, mankind is not spiritual. They tell you and want you to believe everything under the sun. We're not moving forward, spiritual people, to any place beneficial. Artificial intelligence will destroy mankind. Invisible jobs, meaning we don't have any to get. How's that going to help mankind? We're going to see a shortage of food real soon. That's going to escalate. The only way they can control people is by not allowing them to have food, making them get in lines and all that, and move into a society where they close them in and can keep them all under control. So that means they're going to affect all the people living outside of the community, outside of the main city, people that they can't control and they'd have to worry about. Now, my following, I'm going to go as long as I want today, but here's the thing. Do you know, and I'm going to go through the past 25 years. Years ago, all the elk and deer were dying across the United States in herds. Well, I went against one of the most famous UFO people, Linda Moulton Howe. I met her personally here in Hawaii. Didn't get to talk to her, but she was on Coast to Coast. She's on there every couple months. Well, I got to be challenging her twice on. One time they left me on longer than they should have because I really put it down. The second one, the first time they cut me off real fast, but she claimed that, they drank water from Mount Shasta, one of the state parks. Not Sequoia National Park, but one of them, I can't even think of the name, sorry. That they drank the water and it killed all the females. Where'd you come up with that story? And it was a story because the whole herd died. And it wasn't just the female deer. And it was across the United States. So they all didn't go up to this one, the park that's flooding and it could destroy the planet and all that. I have dyslexia, man, and a couple things. I can't think of the word, but disease. So again, it's a pathetic place, really. But getting back to the point, I said, look, it's happening across the country. I met a person in a town, because I was driving across the United States at the time, that was the head doctor for the town, and had to go in and say they're dying of mad cow disease. Wild elk in the mountains are dying of mad cow disease. Try to put that in a piece that you can understand it for real and how could it happen. So the lies came out every which way. But she went on about they drank the water from the volcano and died. And I said, no, that didn't happen. But she claimed a lot of things. But she spent 40 years trying to prove cattle mutilation and still has zero proof of any of it, of how it really happens and why. I'll tell you straight out. They need the sack from a cow to grow graze in our government, and so do the aliens. It's filled with blood, and that's how they eat. They don't eat through their mouth. All right. I saw a video. It was taken by the government. A friend of mine had it. All right. It was taken away. But here's the thing, people. The things that are going on, MJ12, the old name, made sure that none of it was ever released publicly. And how did they do that? Well, T.J. Morris's husband died a couple years ago. But his story was, even he said it right before he died, he worked for the government. And he did, and so did she. She used to drive into Area 51. But he worked for the government, killed, I think it was 138 people for the government. Killed. All right. He also said he flew the first UFO for the president. Okay, believe it or not, that's his truth right before he died. Now, a really famous person Damian Brinkley. All right. Uh, I got to go to, it was lunch, not dinner. I was going to say dinner. Somebody paid $125 so I could go to lunch with him. There was 13 people of us at the table. And he came into his fame, his book, uh, said he was hit by lightning 3 times and died and all that. Well, I'm sitting there listening to him. And I said to him, with all your stuff going on and what you say, did you ever see God? Do you even know God? His book was a bestseller for years. And he stood up and said, no, I haven't. All right. This famous person in front of 13 people. So I didn't make it up. And he said, and this is the way he said it, I'm a Luciferian from the 1700s. And I created a lot of karma. Karma. And he said, in this lifetime, I killed 44 people for the government. Whether he's lying or not, I'm not going to deny whether he lied about it or not. But that's what he said. And he says, I'm going to reincarnate until I pay it all back. So here's a person committing crime, admitting it publicly, and saying he will pay it back, which he will. And in this lifetime, what he's doing for the vets and things like that are incredible. Hospice, he did more for that than anybody else. But he still has, all right, and he killed people. So he doesn't get to see the Golden Gate and go through it and all that, not when he leaves this world. But his karma is great, and he wants to pay it back, and he knows he has to, and he's going to. But he's admitting it and accepting it, not like anybody else I know. But when I got up and I got to hug him and everything else, his energy was incredible. Stronger than, I'd say, 98% of the people I met. Meaning he's really trying to work the karma off. And he's putting 100% out there to do it. Most people have karma and don't put 2% out there to get rid of their karma. Don't believe they have karma, don't want to have karma, and don't accept it. So guess what? Are they learning anything about awareness? Of course not. Of course not. For him to admit his past lives, he had to be aware of that at least. So that means he's much more aware than most people at that alone. So, I've been out in the UFO world for a long time. I started myself when I was young. But when I got to travel all over the United States, meeting all these UFO people, I met the coolest people. Most of them are dead. All right? My friends, dead, gone, missing. All right? So where does that leave me? I don't care. I'm doing what I have to do. I do this show. I try to do a spiritual show as well. Until I die. I'm working on a book that's really hardcore, and I probably can't get a person to edit it because of the topic, and most people don't want to go near that topic with a 10-foot pole. All right? I'll tell you, it has to do with women and men. All right? And the bad thing that's happening between that. All right? But again, most people don't want to deal with the truth. They'll say, oh, you talk about the bad things. The truth is bad to 90% or 95% of the people. You tell them something, oh, that's bad, I don't want to hear it. But it's the truth. Well, I don't want to hear it anyway. You don't want to hear the truth. You want to live in the lie that everything's beautiful. All these kids aren't starving, aren't being raped, abused, and all this other stuff. You don't want to hear the truth about women. You don't want to hear anything. Oh, no. I everything's beautiful. You know that song, Everything's Beautiful in Its Own Way? Yeah, its own way, not your way. Your way, you make everything beautiful when it's not. Aliens are not good, beneficial, or a plus for us, for mankind. If the human race on this planet worked together, imagine where we would be. I mean, we would learn about population control ourselves. We wouldn't have to have the government or anybody else take away people or destroy them, put kids into the army to get them blasted and wasted. You know why children that were going in Vietnam? To get rid of them. 17 years old, going to fight and dying on a Vietnamese, I can't say it, on the vet side, people, they were 14 years old, 17 years old, shooting 14-year-olds and killing each other. Does that sound like a plus thing for mankind to move forward? Of course not. Did anything become positive out of Vietnam War? No. When Jane Fonda's got involved with that, she was hated for a while because she said it was a useless war and they all hated her for the people that died and all this stuff. But war's useless, period, people, whether you realize that or not. Again, if man could work together, which they won't, and I'll give you the reason why in a second, but they can't and they won't. Like I said, take the top 25 religions will never work together. Because why? They have a different God. And you know the old saying, my God's better than your God? I hate to tell you, the truth is, yes, some are, some aren't. What God are you following? The real God or the other ones? Well, there's only one God. No, there's not one God. There is a real God, and people trying to be God, all right, or entities trying to be God, but they're not really God. Deities are not God. All right, people? They never were. But, the dictionary says anything with superpowers is a God. No, it's not. It's a super powerful entity, not God. All right. Killing for any reason in this realm is not spiritual at any level. Doesn't help mankind. So, the Ten Commandments, not written by God, but written by Mr. Moses, was dealing with the energy and what he felt was important. But that came from outside of himself. Because years later, he created 613 laws out of his own ego brain, which were not beneficial to the human race at any level. Hey, how are you, everybody out there? All right. But here's the thing, people. Time's running out. For us to change the future of our reality. Again, I heard September 24th, something's going to change. We'll see. But when we deal with people, listen to them. Listen to what truth they're telling you and what lies they're telling you. Are they telling you anything good? All the government programs don't help us. What they do in Congress, is it helping us? No. They'll never help the poor people. It's not about poor. It's about money. Any of the great speakers are saying you have to be rich, including the religionist people. So, people, where do you want to go? Heaven or hell? Oh, you are in hell, and it's hard to get out. It's not like you're going to go into it. You are in it. You're not going to go to a worse place than here. Because this is a place where you can lose your head, your hand, your fingers, every part of your body, watch your children get destroyed, or family. It's horrible. It's hell, people. The astral plane, you can't do that to people. And when you leave the astral plane, it's I'd say at least 1,000 times better than the astral plane. You got to let go of all the stuff that keeps you here, though. Attachment, one of the main ones that you can't break. Attached to anything, people, cars, forest, woods, water, whatever you think's important in your life. It keeps you here. And that's not God's teachings. It wasn't Jesus' teachings either. But you can believe what you want, people. And I'll say this straight out. My book, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, is probably the most important book ever put out, because I'm the only one that's putting the truth out there about who and what Jesus was. And who Mary Magdalene was. Which nobody accepts or can even face. People want to say to Mary Magdalene, people say they're this, that, and the other thing. I met this woman, claims she's the head of the Galactic Federation, but said she was the daughter of Mary, the mother of Jesus, which meant she had no powers. Mary, the mother of Jesus, had no powers. Mary Magdalene was an incredible being because she was equal to Jesus. But I don't want to go there, because Jesus talked about aliens, people, whether you want to know that as well. He said other races, not meaning from China, Japan, or countries, whatever, but realities. But he talked about Satan, not Lucifer, people. Satan, not Lucifer, people. Satan, not Lucifer. Lucifer's an angel. Always was, always will be. He fell, but so did all the other angels. Well, there was only 9 mentioned in the Bible. The main ones that were written as, because that's all the people that they were there experienced. But in Revelations, they talk about millions of angels. Not millions, whatever, I can't even think of the right word, but lots of them, right? Multiple angels. So, yeah, those names were never mentioned. But everybody that has to work with an angel, it's usually Gabriel or Michael. And there's 9 mentioned in the Bible. Why don't they pick out some of the other ones? I'm trying to think. I mean, I heard these names, Metatron and Alphatron, and somebody, my friend, created one of them. But again, the one sounds like a futuristic robot, considering all the other names rhyme. I can go over it, but no, not here. They're not aliens. Aliens come on and came down to recreate the human race, which they did after Atlantis was destroyed. People, I can tell you the truth if you're willing to listen and want to hear it. Not, well, science says this. Science says a lot of things, but none of it's true. Tell them, when was the human being born? Where was it born? How did a race change from one color to another color? Genetics, the weather? Really? He ate too much yellow food? He ate too much red food? What do you believe about that? All lies, people. There were 9 races. 4 stayed. Black, yellow, red, and white. The blue race, the green race, the crystal race. All those races left right before Atlantis was destroyed. But you don't have to believe that. You rather believe the Anunnaki story. Oh, they created man. No, they didn't. Nobody can create soul. You can create a body, but you can't create the soul that goes inside it. So anything the government produces is not going to be good. But what it will allow, people, will allow entities to come into a body. The souls that are stuck here, the entities that are stuck here, not pure souls coming down from God or the higher realms, but the negative souls that are locked down here. And the other thing that's reincarnating after a couple of lifetimes is aliens into humans, people. How many people say they were walking or they're alien? Why? The same as, why does a guy say they're a girl or a girl say they're a guy? Because there were multiple sexes in different lifetimes. And they don't even know how to separate that yet. There's many reasons, but there's reasons for everything, people. Whether you want to hear it or not. Live in dream world. Follow these delusional people speaking about things they don't even know. Mr. Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, the Dalai Lama, and the Pope, considered the top 4 spiritual people on the planet, cannot talk about God. They cannot talk about God. And what's his face? Conversation with God. Claims he talks to God. I tried to challenge him. He goes, oh, I'll send you my other book. I said, I don't want your other book because it's just lies. You're not talking to God. All right. Oh, well, love is the answer. Love's not the answer for anything, people. Love is only 2,000 years old. Do you know that? Do you believe that? Do you understand that? Women weren't love objects before that. Before Jesus was walking this planet, women were still slaves of a family, slaves of a community, slaves, period. Sure, you could have compassion for their person that they're living with and having sex with, but it wasn't like it was real love. All right? And even when Jesus spoke, when he said, leave your families, why would he say that if it was all about love? Don't you think he should bring your family? You can't bring people that aren't aware to an aware state. The same as an aware spiritual being comes down here. You think they're going to work with the low life that can't understand anything? Low life means everybody, not just poor people or this or that. People that are stuck in hell are hell beings. We all are, or all were. And hopefully we're trying to get out. Hell's not a place you try not to go into because you're already into it, trying to get out. The Pope will say there's no such thing as hell now. And I wrote him 10,000 letters, well, over the past 10 years. But keep telling him, oh, you're in hell. Don't you realize that? He doesn't know what goes on in hell. All right, he doesn't know who's running hell. Is it aliens or is it Satan? Satan controls all aliens races as well. Or we be all working together and we're not. They would be helping mankind move forward and they're not. Hold on. Give me a split second and let this guy go. Mr. Grizzle, goodbye. Take a walk. Sorry about that, people. Little guy wanted to go. So I went on. I'm not going to go too much further. I could go on all day if you were even interested in it for more than 5 minutes. Please, if you got anything out of this video or care much about the truth, send this video to everybody you know. They don't have to listen to it, but send it to them. See if anybody even responds to it or cares about what's going on. Most people don't really believe in aliens walking the planet. Most people don't really believe aliens are cloning us and working with us and all that kind of stuff. People don't understand. Mr. Gizmo's coming back in already. People, it's your choice. Truth or lies, pick whichever one you want to follow or get. Listen to these speakers. Talk to whistleblowers. Like, I was on Kerry Cassidy's show 3 times, which was me and her debating. And she believes, I'd say a big percentage of all the whistleblowers she has on. You can make something sound convincing, but so what? Is it beneficial? Is it going to help you? When the food shortage starts, who are you going to ask for the food? God dropped some food off in my yard for me. What do you expect to happen here? Death is, I don't want to go into religion, but, truth is, this is hell. And if you leave and don't have to come back, it's only going to get better. Coming back doesn't mean anything's better because you're not even going to be aware of what you know right now. So, people, till next time, I'm sorry Tina wasn't here. I hope she's all right. Getting back to Sean. Before I leave, let me just finish. Sean Evan Martin has a book out, Sands of Time. Read it. It's the most important book in the UFO world, period. No matter what you read, all the stories, what the government does and did and all that, read this. It'll explain it in detail. Where we are, what's happening. All right. What time travel really means or meant to it. What aliens are really doing. But he's not going to be around too much longer, people. And I say, get what you can. Send out your prayers for him if that's what you do. But the few people that had the truth, disappearing. The reason why I stick around, because I talk about spiritualism and government really doesn't care about the word. So, till next time, people, love and light, whatever you need in your life, don't stop, don't give up, keep fighting for it. Realize the closer you get to the truth, the more people are going to try to take it away, including your life. So with that, have a nice day, have a nice night. You're on 3 o'clock and you're what, 3, 4, late night. Dinner time on the East Coast. Lunchtime started when we started on the West Coast. I'm in Hawaii. I'm 3 hours different. So Tina's like 11 and a half hours different than I am. So, but write comments to me. Hawksblood1 HAWKSBLOOD1 at AOL.com. Please answer all my questions. Anybody sends me a letter, good or bad, I reply. If I get bad, I'll reply just as well, with truth, not lies. I got hit with somebody attacking me, calling me a liar. I said, really? I'm not the one that said all these ridiculous things that never happened. All right? But again, I'm not prophesizing September 24th. We'll see if whoever that story got created by and how and what, if it comes true. Now, I met people high up in the government that said they were moving because of the destruction that was going to happen, and they're all years off, and these are top government people. So no matter who comes out with the truth or what they think is the truth, can be changed, or it's not the truth. So till then, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, hope you get it.